Well, this is a lot different than the Indy 500 tests I've covered in the past. Wow. So we've had what appears to be some sealer issues at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, particularly on the warm-up lane. Three incidents took place today which have brought a premature end to the practice session or the testing session, whatever you want to call it, today for or in preparation for the Indianapolis 500. It all began on the very first lap going out of the pits. Alexander Rossi losing control, nearly catching the wall, luckily not collected by anybody. He continued on. Later on in the day, during session 2, we had Helio Castroneves lose control in turn 2, something that looked very similar to the crash that Graham Rahal suffered last year. The Indy 500 winning chassis into the wall, and Helio was thankfully okay. The scariest incident, though, of the day was Will Power coming out of turn number 1, losing control on the apron, and Colton Herta, a miraculous avoidance for him, and then another one by Marcus Ericsson. Ironically, Marcus avoiding both spinning cars on the apron today. So this is a serious situation, there's no doubt about it, and one that certainly, when you're talking about cancellations on an oval, those sort of things are pretty rare. Now, it's not known whether we're going to run tomorrow or not. Some drivers seem to think, okay, we're going to run tomorrow, and some drivers maybe are a little more apprehensive on that point. Connor Daly, in particular, in the post-testing press conference, had an interesting quote, which was, "It's just testing. Why are we even remotely pushing the limits on the warm-up lane?" And I think there's a point to be made there. But I also listened to some of the comments of Helio Castroneves and Colton Herta, which you will hear right now, which are talking about the scary nature and the unbelievable quickness that these cars lose control. And then once you're spinning across that warm-up lane and into active traffic where cars go as fast as 230 miles an hour, that's a very dangerous situation. So here's Helio and here's Herta after their crashes today.
But in this situation, I'm so confused. So hopefully by the month of May, when it comes to track and everything is going to get a little more rubber in and things like that, and we won't have an issue.
I don't know what's going on with the pit lane. Maybe the sealant that they put down just isn't doing well or operating well when the temperatures are so cold, especially because, you know, pit in and pit out aren't getting a lot of running.
Right.
So it's staying relatively cool out there. So maybe that's the reason. But yeah, just glad to kind of come out unscathed and definitely glad that I didn't get into Will, because that would have been a lot worse.
So I think absolutely the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and IndyCar made the right decision today by ending things early after the Will Power and Colton Herta incident. And I'm also very thankful, I have to say, that everyone escaped these accidents today all right, and it appears that a solution is at least being worked towards to be made. Even if we have to come back here later on, even in April or even into May, to finish this test, ultimately everyone got through their rookie orientation and refresher courses, so really, if you did kill tomorrow, you wouldn't, I don't think, lose too much. Certainly it would be disappointing from the perspective of people like me who really like it when cars go around the oval here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. But safety has to be a priority, particularly in accidents like those. I mean, Will Power said it best in his Peacock interview. The type of accident that could lead to an Alex Zanardi type injury, we don't need. So a solution needs to be found. And I guess I'm thankful again that number one, everyone was okay. And number two, you found it on day one and you didn't find it, say, on lap 101 of the Indianapolis 500. That would have been disastrous from a situation perspective. So we actually did have testing today. Let's go on to a lighter note and talk about some of the times. Now, as of recording, I don't have the combined times. You will see the combined times on the screen in the graphic, and I'll try to fill in the gaps from session 2, which was definitely the fastest session thus far today. Scott Dixon, a 227 mile per hour speed. He led both open sessions. Obviously, he wasn't in the rookie orientation session. Connor Daly picking up where he left off last year in second. overall today at 226.9. He was the driver who led the most laps in last year's Indianapolis 500. Callum Eilert, the rookie for Juncos Hollinger Racing. Wow, that was a surprise, but a pleasant one. Already looking like a leader for Rookie of the Year honors in a Rookie of the Year class, which is so very deep. Santino Ferrucci, who, oh my God, how impressive is this kid? You'll hear from him later today. Dreyer Reinbold racing a brand new chassis, looking like a brand new chassis today. Marcus Ericsson, who made all those avoiding moves, and really he is due for a breakthrough, a major breakthrough victory. Obviously, he has some on the street courses, but something like the Indianapolis 500, you never know. Alexander Rossi recovered from that accident, or the spin, to put 6th up on the board. Elio Castroneves is up there. Unfortunately, Meyershank Racing is going to be in for a major workload to get that car back prepared. J.R. Hildebrand, sneaky fast once again. Colton Herta, another car driver team combination that's going to be in trouble here, at least to begin with. Takuma Sato, former winner. Alex Palou, he's well on his way to become a winner at some point. Devlin DeFrancesco, another impressive-looking rookie, actually the second or the third fastest Andretti Autosport driver, but more importantly, he outran Simon Pagenaud and Romain Grosjean today, two drivers who are running that Andretti Shock program. Scott McLaughlin was one of the fastest drivers in the no-tow times throughout the day, so remember that. The Team Penske cars, as well as Rinus VeeKay, were very, very quick in the no-tows. That's going to be important come to qualifying. And you go through the rest of the field. Jimmy Johnson was really looking pretty good. You'll hear from him later. He's going to be a driver who really isn't looking for outright speed at this point. He's looking for experience in traffic. So you've looked at the results. You've heard me muddle through them. Let's listen to some driver comments that we got today after or at the conclusion of the first practice session. Keep in mind this was before a lot of the warm-up antics began, so we're not really focused on that.
Just held it flat. That's about it. But no, it's awesome to be back here. You know, Pennzoil Chevys feels good. Yellow Submarine always looks cool. To be back here my second time, the confidence is a lot higher, having a race under my belt, and I think I was flat on my second lap, and last year it took me like 15 laps to get there. So it's not all about that. At the end of the day, it's about that Sunday in May. But at the end of the day, I feel strong. I feel, one with the car, and Benny Bretzman, my engineer, has been great for me, and we're just continuing building on a package that we started in Texas.
Yeah, obviously last year the package that you guys brought here wasn't quite there. Have you felt the difference? What is the difference? Well, don't tell me the total difference, but...
I couldn't do that, but no, I think there's been a lot of hard work. And there was a lot of hard work last year, but at the end of the day, this category is the most competitive in the world, and in this regard, especially at Indy. So we're hoping we've done the right things. We think we've made gains in the right areas, including Chevy, including everyone working together. But who knows? You won't know till Fast Friday, what it's like, but... all I can say is I feel good in the car. My feeling in the car's nice. The car setup's nice. Let's see what we got.
What's the game plan for the rest of the day?
Oh, I'd like to get in traffic. I'd like to get in, past a few cars, do a few things, but just do laps, continue to build on our program. We've got another day tomorrow. Make sure our car's clean, and this is our 500 car, so we don't want to put too many miles on it. Look after it and see what we got here in May later on.
Well, there's pressure to win any race, and I think there's pressure on everybody to win Indy. At Team Penske, we demand excellence at this place specifically. So this is the place, we want to perform our best of anywhere that we go. But I don't know that changes anything. There's pressure for every single race. So I don't feel different in that regard, and I think everybody feels that pressure when they're here. So it is absolutely there. I'm not sure if it changes much, though,
You mentioned the amount of track time, and you mentioned you kind of talked about the good start today, but maybe it doesn't mean too much. Can you outthink yourself with this much track time?
Absolutely. Indy is a place you can turn yourself around because you have so much time. This is not a typical race for us. We show up on the weekend and it's go, go, go. You have to make good decisions and you don't have a lot of time to turn around. Whereas here, you have so much time to go forward, backwards, all around in a circle that, you could get lost. And so I think that's where experience really comes into, understanding what to look for, what to chase, what not to chase, and trying not to get yourself turned around ultimately.
So what will you be working on the next couple of days here?
I mean, for us, just getting a read on what we've done this offseason technically with the car has been most important. That's what we started the day doing, is just kind of checking off our basic list. Aerodynamically, how the cars run, mechanically, all the efficiencies, things like that. But we also want to get some race trim running, kind of see where the car is at, compare it to last year, and see if we can make it more comfortable. So there's a lot to do, but I think this test, just more so for the engineers to make sure we check off what we've done in the offseason, is where it's most beneficial.
Yeah, for me, it's just laps. At some point, we'll get into qualifying stuff in May. So for now here, it's really just pounding laps and trying to get as much track time as possible. I think I'm over the hump with single car runs. Like that's good, and I'm at speed. It's really getting used to the traffic environment, trying to set up passes, trying to understand the balance of the car in clean air versus in traffic and dirty air. So I think we'll see a lot more of that this afternoon and moving into tomorrow.
As someone who's very new to this IndyCar oval racing, can you describe to folks at home who've never tried it before what the difference is between a track like Texas, which you were so very quick at, and a track like Indianapolis?
For me, it's going to sound funny, but Texas, the straightaways are pretty short, so you don't have time to kind of freak out about the corner that's coming. Here at Indy, you come off of turn 4, and you look down this long front straightaway, and you see a 90-degree turn, and you start arguing with yourself. Am I going to hold it flat this time, or do I wait one more lap? No, maybe this. No, maybe. And you're just in this argument the whole way down the straightaway, and then whatever your foot does, it does, and then you have no lap to think about it. For whatever reason, turn 1. I guess it's because of the visual effect of the front straightaway. That's probably the hardest corner in racing. It's a very interesting conversation to have with yourself.
So how are you going to talk yourself into going down there with the qualifying boost at 242 miles an hour?
I don't know just yet, but at 222 I was flat and felt good, so I hope another 10 or 15 miles an hour doesn't spook me too bad.
I mean, let's be honest, we came into today going, let's make sure we, run laps, get procedures. We had no idea. It's a brand new car. I've never been on a Chevy. Just go out, I'm like, that car feels pretty good. Our no-toe lap was pretty good, and I just picked up the back of the pack. I was like, oh, we'll just put one on the board. Looks pretty good. Oh, we're P3. I'm like, well, we can bring it back to the box. So car's now back, getting a set down. It's completely changed our mindset going into the next day and a half, because now we're just keeping it real simple. Car's got speed, man. That saves me from a lot of work.
Yeah. Well, that's what's kind of cool, is that, obviously it wasn't great circumstances the way you got into Texas, but really it saved you from kind of the tedious nature of doing the refresher test. How great was it just to go out there and go full send?
Oh, dude, it was great. Getting that opportunity to go race in Texas was huge for me. Obviously, my last IndyCar race before that was Nashville. So, been 6 months since I'd actually been in the seat. And to get like 5-ish warm-up laps before we go green was not exactly what I had in mind for my Sunday. But it worked out in our favor, man. Top 10, great mindset coming into Indy. I'm in the groove. I don't have to really work into it, or I don't have any of the jitters of coming back and doing it. So just ready to rip.
And you've never finished outside of the top 10 here. Clearly the car is fast. And you're clearly feeling good. Expectations?
Dude, it's early. It's so early. I can't. I'm already way past my expectations for the test. We got laps in. Being where we are right now and being comfortable and confident in the car is just allowing us as a team to just sit there and actually sit back and just take it easy and work on little things and be tedious and actually pocket some stuff for May. So no expectations. We're out here having fun. It's a new team. All the guys are knocking the rust off. Me not so much, because I was a little bit more on the lucky side. So, dude, we're just going to go get more laps and log some data.
And so we're almost at the conclusion of day 1 of testing. You might notice a special guest here. This is Darian Gilliam from the Black Flags Matter YouTube channel. Darian, it was great to have you out here, and of course we'll have you out here tomorrow, presuming of course they run. I just want your perspective, because believe it or not, Darian hasn't seen Indy cars. Well, he hasn't seen non-champ car Indy cars on an oval before. You were at a race at Las Vegas in 2005, but what was it like to see cars, Indy cars, going around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway at speeds approaching 230 miles an hour?
Well, first off, I think it's crazy that, to think back in 2018, I was dissing IndyCar and stuff.
Yeah, we had a debate. It was pretty good.
Yeah. Well, he won, of course, but yeah, no. So
of course,
yeah, it's funny to look back on that, and now fast forward to 2022, and I'm fully into it with you, man. So it's a blessing. But yeah, I mean, just seeing these cars on the oval and stuff was absolutely spectacular. Just seeing, just getting the sense of speed as well. Just standing at the very end of the pit lane and stuff, and just them going vroom vroom and stuff. I was like, wow, this is pretty intense.
Yeah, and as a NASCAR fan, or predominantly NASCAR fan, what would you say the primary difference in the experience of seeing a stock car flying by you versus an Indy car flying by you at top speed?
Well, I mean, just clearly, I mean, like, obviously, a Indy car is going to be it's going to be way faster than a stock car, of course. And I don't know, I mean, I was at the Indy road course race for NASCAR last year and stuff, and obviously they were going a whole lot slower, and I've never had a chance to see any action on the Indy Oval at all in person and stuff. So being here for the first time was an absolute blast. It was cool to follow you guys around all day and stuff, get an insight on how you guys handle yourselves out here and stuff. And yeah, I'm learning from the best in the business.
Oh, nobody tell Eric Estep. No, so here's the interesting question I have for you. What is your impression from today? Who looked good, and who do you think's got a chance in the Indy 500 after today? I mean, it's day one, but.
Being a NASCAR guy, I mean, like, obviously I was going to pay close attention to Jimmy Johnson, of course, and I was very surprised that, he was going to that he was this quick today and stuff. I mean, in the speed trap, or no, excuse me, not in the speed trap, in the non-tow.
No-tow.
Yeah, in the no-tow. Still learning the lingo.
Yeah, we had to teach tow equal draft.
Right. So in the non-tow area, he was P8 and stuff. That was really fast, and then he got as high as like 222 miles per hour. Was P5 in the first session, so he looked very impressive. And obviously, you have the typical contenders. Scott Dixon was P1. Connor Daly was pretty fast in the final session as well. And also Joseph Newgarden looking for his first Indy 500, looked extremely fast as well. So yeah.
And he's getting sick about being asked about it. I noticed that.
Yeah.
Sorry, Joseph, we had to ask. But yeah, this is the end of day one, I guess, here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Preparations well underway for the Indianapolis 500. We'll have any updates regarding the track condition and what may happen tomorrow. It's an early morning for us. I think there's a media bullpen at about 9 a.m. So it's we're going to find out. But it sounds like a solution will be found. I'm sure we go back to the best of the business sort of thing. The folks at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, they know how to prep a track, and if there's an issue, they'll find the solution. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks to Darian, and we'll see you guys in the next video.